is for lesson 1.2. So you're going to go to modules, scroll down, and click on lesson 1.2 instructions. And again, you can keep it on here and view it, that's fine, or you can click on the link and make it its own tab. And what I'm also going to do is enlarge the text just a little bit so I can make it a little bit easier for me to read. So lesson 1.2, what makes a compelling argument? Through analysis of your own arguments, which is what you did in the lesson 1.1 10-minute quick write, technically, you made an argument. You begin to explore the concept of a rhetorical situation and how claims, evidence, reasoning, and persuasive elements work together to make a convincing case. You will note your personal observations of a winning argument and then learn to independently annotate other arguments for rhetorical features and moves. Then, as a final step, you will craft complex sentences to articulate some of the most striking rhetorical movies you identified. That shouldn't be movies, that should be moves. Here we go. Again, here are your lesson goals, your learning targets, and your success criteria. So, part 1, addressing the rhetorical situation. Identifying the elements of the rhetorical situation. Whether you realize it or not, you just participated in a rhetorical situation. In the previous lesson, you, as writers, wrote arguments with a specific purpose and in a particular context to persuade your audience. Although this rhetorical situation was staged for academic purposes, you will engage in authentic rhetorical situations on a daily basis. Think about the last time you chose your words carefully to try and persuade someone else to feel a certain way about a topic or to take a specific action. Did you craft your language to appeal to your audience? If so, how? If you've ever asked your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, guardian for something and you changed your voice in a way to make it more appealing to get the answer you wanted, you conducted a rhetorical situation. If you ever talked your brother, sister, friend into doing something or feeling something, you have participated in a rhetorical situation. Using the following link below to begin our L1.2 assignment, we will start with a 10-minute quick write with you describing a time you used rhetorical strategies to convince someone to think or do something. Convincing your mom or dad to let you go to the movies with a friend is just one example. You are free to use any language that was necessary in this scenario, but you must provide me with your audience, the argument at hand, and the exact words and or strategies you use to persuade your audience, also known as getting your way. So, here is the link to 1.2. Again, please remove copy of and replace with your first and last name. So we're going to click on this. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. I don't like that. Click. There we go. It should prompt you to make a copy, and then you are going to change that. Just have your first initial and then last name on it. So you go up here into the title and you put your name in this. I'm going to take my name out because this is the one that you make a copy of and I don't want it to get changed. Describe a time you used rhetorical strategies to convince someone to think or do something. This is the same exact stuff that I just read to you. So I believe did I give a time set in here? 10 minutes. A 10-minute quick write to describe to me a time of where you were actually part of a rhetorical situation. And this is a free write for me. So if you, for some reason, had to use a particular word and you write that word in here, I'm not going to get onto you for a word that you use if it was part of the situation. Don't go crazy with it, because then you're just trying to abuse something. Tell me a real story that actually happened where you used rhetorical strategies. You changed your tone. You did dishes. You approached your mom at a certain, in a certain time of day because you knew she'd be more apt to let you do something. Give me a situation on where you got your way because of the way you spoke or the way you handled the situation. When you're done with that, come back into the instructions. In every rhetorical situation, there is a speaker or writer, an audience, a purpose, and an occasion. In L1.2, identify the elements of the rhetorical situation they enacted in Lesson 1.1. And I give you a hint. Use the prompt from Lesson 1.1. So, if you want to come back in here, you can hit previous, and I would hit previous again, and I'd actually leave this here, and I'd scroll down, and I actually can hit that and give myself more space to see. Oh, I've passed the prompt. Where's the prompt? Oh, the prompt's in the assignment. That's right. I thought I had the prompt in here. Oh well. I can go to my Google Drive. I can definitely go to there. I thought the prompt was in the instructions. I might put that in there for y'all. And I can always pull up my assignment from 1.1 and look at that prompt again. Here we are. All right, so I said that there's a hint that the answers to these next 4 questions are here in this prompt. So, in every rhetorical situation, there's a speaker, a writer, an audience, and a purpose, and an occasion. So who's my writer? Oop, my bad. You are part of an advertising team hired to create a poster for a museum exhibit. So I'm the writer, but it's not just me, it's a team, and it's an advertising team. So I would write advertising team here. Who is the advertising team trying to convince? Who's the audience at hand? Again, that answer is in that prompt. What's the purpose for what I'm doing? What is the purpose of what I'm writing? And what's the occasion for which I'm writing? All of these answers are here in this prompt. Once you're done with this, go back to the instructions. Listing observations of the winning argument. You will now take on the role of the museum director as you read the winning arguments from the last lesson. I know it says I display both arguments, but we didn't do team arguments. So I want you to go back to yours. And then I also have this. So your first argument will be the one from your 1.1, which will be written here. My bad. And the other argument to recall would be this one right here. This is a sample student argument for image B. If you also wrote for image B, that's perfectly fine. If you wrote for image A, even better. So, you're going to list observations of the stuff that you did in your argument and what was good, what was convincing about your argument. If you were the museum director, and then look at this one, what's convincing about this argument as well? What pulls you in and draws you in? Take a few minutes, no longer than 5, to reread the most convincing argument independently and jot down your initial observations in L1.2. What do you notice? What stands out? Which traits or features of the argument do you think made it the most compelling. So I'm going to let you be your own grade person. What's the better argument? The argument you provided in 1.1 or this argument here? If you think your argument beats out this one, that is awesome. Go back to your argument here and then proof it. Come back to 1.2. What do you notice about your argument? What stands out about your argument? And which traits or features of your argument make it the most compelling? If you believe that this is the better argument, same thing. Reread it again and answer these questions regarding that most compelling argument. Once you're done, and that should only take you about 10 minutes. I mean, it says no longer than 5, but really no longer than 10. Part 2, annotating features of the argument. I won't be able to do part 2 with you, so we're not going to worry about part 2. I have already showed y'all about annotation and how to highlight and how to look at certain things, but we're going to mark this off for this lesson so we can have a little bit more space to go. Part 3, describing a writer's moves. Supporting the writing process. Using the opening lines of Image B's sample student argument, we will write a sentence that describes what the ad team was doing through those words. Now, this is not in your assignment. Notice, this is me teaching you how to do that last part. Hint, doing represents an action, thus a verb. Your sentence should have a verb. So here's an example of that. Sentence from this argument that stands out. Museum exhibits can bring history to life. What is the ad team doing with these words? Museum exhibits can bring history to life. Basically, what this particular sentence is doing is it's establishing, there's my verb, the purpose of museum exhibits and laying a foundation for the logical case for Image B because it presents Lincoln as seemingly brought back to life. Now that's wordy. If you can't get it that wordy, I understand, no worries. But notice how bring history to life, seemingly brought back to life. I make sure I got museum exhibits in there. And this is my verb. It's establishing that museum exhibits both lay a foundation for the logical case of Image B or because it presents Lincoln as brought back to life with this beautiful, colorful image with rosy cheeks and nice, thick, full hair and piercing blue eyes. So that's the sentence that's from the passage, from the winning argument, very first sentence. That's what the sentence is doing. So, return to L1.2 and complete the exit ticket by providing a sentence that describes what the ad team was doing through those words. I have some extra support if this seems difficult. If you are having trouble starting your sentence to explain what the writer is doing, please look at the following sentence starters to help you. Please read these and reread them once you put words in them. With the blank line, insert the text, the ad team, that's kind of what I did up here. If I were to say, with the opening line, museum exhibits can bring history to life, the ad team is establishing the purpose of blah, 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 blah. With the blank sentence, the ad team is, or the ad team contrasts blank with blank in order to, what is it doing? So there should be a verb here. There should be a verb here and a verb here. So I go back to my L1.2. Here's where you're writing the sentence. Once this is complete, this is all done, you come back over here into Canvas, and I'm in my modules, so all I gotta do is click Next. I'm still in 1.1 because remember I went back to see if I could see that prompt without opening my assignment, but that didn't work out very well, did it? And here's 1.2. The due date for this will be Monday. It will be Monday, maybe Tuesday, because I know this is a lot for you. So again, I hit Start Assignment. You want to use that second Google Drive tab. I won't be doing this on all the videos, but just in case until it sinks in, I'm going to kind of walk you through it step by step. Here would be my 1.2, and here's where I will add it. Hit Attach. Drive items not shared, that's funny. Let's try that again. If you don't succeed, I can just double click it. Ooh, I like that. I can double click. Don't know why. It should probably work for you. It's not working. Remember, I'm under as a test student and it's not really linked to my email all the time, so we're just going to pass that. But that's, you get the gist of it. So that's 1.2, and be ready for 1.3 either Tuesday and or definitely Wednesday. And I am looking to be done with 1.5 by Friday at least.